Hi everybody, this is Playdates and Travels. So if you just stumbled upon my channel, welcome. Today I'm going to do a Q&A, and if you are a returning visitor, I hope that you enjoyed the video that you're about to see. This is going to be probably a two-part video because there were a lot of questions from my recent giveaway. I think I received 52 questions or so, which was a lot. So I'm going to do my best to answer all of them, and I'm just going to go in the order that they were received. Hopefully that's okay. It would just be too chaotic for me to try to organize these beforehand. But I'm just going to go through them, and hopefully you guys are interested enough to stick around. And I'm going to be filming this in parts because I know this is going to be a long video. So hopefully it's interesting enough and will help you guys all to get to know me better and why I have such a voracious love for Disney, because I have been a fan since I was a little girl. And that's one of your questions, so I guess I could get into that. But also I just want to quickly say, I am wearing a shirt that I got from the outlets, the Disney store outlet in the California area. And I have seen this shirt so many months. I think I first saw this shirt back last year in 2017, and then again in January and February. And I never bought it, but I recently saw Jen from the Tim Tracker channel wear the Disney World version, and it looks so cute on her. And with these matching ears that I just got from my Gifts for Mickey box, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go get that shirt too, because I had never actually seen anyone wear it, and it actually looked nice to finally see it in person. So when I saw this in my local outlet, I snagged the Disneyland version like that so quick. And this is what it looks like from the front with the D, estimated 1955. And then in the back you just have the Disneyland across the back. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, I just thought it was a really cute shirt, and it's very floral and springy, and with these ears, I think it's a perfect combination. Alright, so question 11 on this list was, what got you started liking Disney? And the answer to that is, I grew up in Florida. So I live in California now, but I used to live on the East Coast. I was an East Coast girl for the longest time, and when I lived in Florida, I lived about a 4-hour drive from Disney World. So my parents took me very frequently. We moved there as a little girl. I was originally from New York, but I think I was 2.5 when we moved to Florida, to Miami. And we would go every other weekend for a period of time. So a secret, if you happen to know someone who works for Disney, which my parents did, I don't remember who the lady was, but they had a friend that worked for the Disney company, you can actually be taken into the parks for free. The rules have changed a little bit. They're a little more stringent upon that than they used to be back, 20 years ago. But my parents knew somebody, so we used to go often, the whole family, for cheap. And then when that friend no longer worked there, my parents did get an annual pass, and we used to go, like I said, every other weekend. I remember being in elementary school, and they used to ask us, what did you do over the weekend? And kids would be like, oh, I went to grandma's house, I did this, blah, blah, blah. And my answer often would be, we went to Disney World. And people would be like, again? Because my parents just took us so frequently because they knew how much we loved it. So what got me started liking Disney is going at a really young age and just being immersed in the whole world. What I love about Disney is the fact that when you step into the parks, you are completely in the Disney bubble. This is especially true for Disney World in Florida, not so much in California, because in California, you're in the regular streets of Anaheim, and then you're in the parks. But when you go to Disney World, once you pass the official Disney World gates, just like that gate right behind me on my display, once you pass those gates, you are in the Disney bubble. You're completely on Disney property. They have their own fire station. They have their own gas stations. Even the McDonald's on that property is owned by Disney, I believe. So I just like the fact that you're kind of going to a different country, a different world, so to speak. You're just immersed in Disney everything, and then everything from seeing the characters pop up on the screen and greet you hello, to the cast members who are waving so energetically and happy to see you, and just the Disney magic that you see on a regular basis. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to Disney now as an adult, and they've made my little girl's day, or they made my day. I went once on my birthday. I think I was for my 21st birthday or my 22nd birthday. I ended up hurting my ankle pretty badly. I slipped on some ice, and it was in a cast. I ended up breaking a ligament in my foot. So I was in a cast and on holding a cane to help me walk for a good portion, I forget, a couple weeks or so. And this just happened to fall right before the winter holidays, and we went for my birthday, and my birthday is the beginning of January. So I was in a wheelchair for the first time in my life in Disney, and I had to be rolled around by my boyfriend, now my husband, because we've been together for a long time. That's another story. But I was rolled around by my husband, then boyfriend, as well as some of my best friends. And it kind of sucked to be, just not as mobile as you normally are. And I remember one of the best memories is a woman in, this is the sweet shop right outside of the Tower of Terror area on the way to where the Sorcerer's Hat used to be, but the main sign for Hollywood Studios. I remember we went there to Starring Rolls Bakery or Starring Rolls Cafe in Hollywood Studios, and I think we were just going to pick up a drink or a cinnamon roll. My husband, then boyfriend, loves cinnamon rolls. We always have to get that every Disney trip. And while I was there, they saw me in the wheelchair, and they also saw my birthday button that said happy birthday, and the woman offered me a free treat from the display. So I think I got a free cupcake as well as a free chocolate completely on the house because it was my birthday, and that was fantastic. So that's what I love about Disney. I love that you can never know what to expect, and you always have something great happen there. And that's just, it just makes your day and really makes your trip, especially when you're spending so much money to go across the country, across the world for some people to get there. Maybe it's just down the street from you. If so, congrats to you, because that is amazing. That's my dream. But yeah, just being immersed in the Disney bubble is fantastic. All right, so now I'm going to go down the list in the order. So my first question from Nanny K was, what is the one must-buy snack at Disney? Believe it or not, I know that I love my snack boxes, but snacks at Disney is a relatively new thing for me. I never really bought snacks ever. I mean, now I would say my favorite is a cake pop, because now that I had a chance to try it from my Theme Park Monthly box, I am hooked. I probably will buy one my next Disney trip. I'm going to Disneyland this weekend, and I plan on buying a cake pop while I'm there. But before that, I never bought snacks. I never bought popcorn. I never bought, you know, the candy apples, none of that, because I'm more of a full meal entree type of person. I love full, hearty, warm meals. I'm a hot meal person versus a cold meal person. So I'll eat a salad, but then I kind of am like, what else? But that's just me. But anyway, so when I would go to Disney, I would not really buy snacks, but the one must-buy snack per se that I always would get would be an ice cream. So I like soft serve ice cream, or ice cream on a cone, or ice cream in a cup, hot fudge sundae, all the works. So I will probably get a sundae and or ice cream cone every single trip. So that is my one must-buy snack at Disney. Oh, and if I'm in Epcot, I would say that my one must-buy it's in the UK pavilion. It's the fish and chips they have on the outside. So it's right outside the Rose and Crown restaurant, which you can get the same fish and chips they serve there, but for $18. If you go to the quick service window on the outside, the little kiosk before you cross the bridge, there is the same fish and chips they sell in the restaurant there for I think $8 or $9, and I consider that a snack per se, just because it's a fun, good item, and I happen to love their fish and chips there. I think it's pretty good. So that's another must-buy snack for me. Okay, so what is your favorite thing about Disney in the Disney parks? I just answered that question, just the whole atmosphere, the world, just immersing you in that bubble, and the happy energy that you get from every single person makes me so happy. What is your favorite park and why? Okay, so my favorite park ever is Epcot. It wasn't the case when I was little. I'm pretty sure my favorite park when I was a little kid was Magic Kingdom, because I liked all the rides that were appropriate, age appropriate for that time. But as I've gotten to be an adult, I really appreciate Epcot. I love seeing all the different cultures, the different countries that are represented there, the different magic, so to speak, in terms of the music and the atmosphere. Just, it's a little bit of a different vibe because it's more on the international scale. And it kind of does make you feel like you're going to another country when you go to these different countries. Now that I've been to some of those countries represented there, they have done a pretty decent replica of them, I have to say. Maybe I might get some arguments about that, but I think that it's a pretty authentic little slice of life from those countries per se. So now that I've been to Japan, I love looking around the Japan Pavilion and just seeing the similarities of what I saw when I went to Japan. The same thing from China, the same thing from the UK a little bit. That one's a little commercialized, I have to say. But you just kind of get a sense of an aspect of the life there, and I love that. So I really do like Epcot. If I'm going to say my favorite Disney park from around the world, then I would say my second favorite is Tokyo Disney Sea in Tokyo. So when I went to Tokyo Disneyland, it was very similar to Disneyland that we have here in California, but the Tokyo Disney Sea Park was amazing! I mean, they have rides there that you don't have here. They had 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. They had this Autopia ride, or not Autopia, it was a boat ride. It was something like Autopia, that's the wrong word. I have to go get my Disney Japan map. But it was a boat ride that was sort of like similar to the car ride where you get in these little boats and you go around the water. It was just so much fun. They also had a Indiana Jones ride, just like the one here in Disneyland. They had Journey to the Center of the Earth. That was such a cool ride. You just go like that, kind of like Rock and Roller Coaster at a certain point. So I loved the rides. I loved how big it was. It was massive. We didn't even get to do the entire park in one day, and we were there for the entire day from start to finish, and woof, there was so much to do there. So I really liked that park. I liked the massive sheer size and just how cool and just authentic it was. And so those are among my favorite parks. So next question I have here is, how many times did you go to Disney? So I've been since I was a little girl, since I was 2.5, 3 years old for the first trip till now, and I can insert a picture from my childhood so you can see how I used to look at that point, but I have gone over 150 times. I don't know the exact answer because I have been to Disney World many, many times from going every other weekend for a certain period of time for majority of my childhood. We stopped going during high school because my parents were just like, it's too expensive, you've been there already. But I used to go with my friends anyway, and in college I used to organize trips back to Florida just to go there, and now that I'm married, we still do the same thing. My husband's like, we just went to Disney last year. Do you really need to go again? I'm just like, yes! The answer is yes! Always yes! So, yeah, a lot of times to Disney World, to California. I also used to be an annual pass holder for the past 2 years. I'm not currently because I now have to pay for my daughter, so we don't go as frequently as we used to, but I've also been there upwards of 65 times, and I've also been to Tokyo Disney Sea, Tokyo Disneyland. I went to Paris's Disneyland, just that Disneyland park, not the second park, on my honeymoon. We had a chance to go to Paris, and I told my husband, let's make a stop at that park. So luckily we were able to do that 8 years ago, because my 8th anniversary is coming up. So 8 years ago I went to Paris's park, and around that time, maybe a year before that, I also went to the Hong Kong park, just outside of the structure. You're able to take the train there from the public train. So my family and I did go to the Hong Kong park and look at it from afar, but nobody wanted to actually pay the admission to go in, so I've not been inside those parks. So that is my next goal, is to go to the Hong Kong park and the Shanghai park. So I need to do a China trip, but those are all the parks that I've been to. And the international parks I've only been to once each. The next question is, what's your favorite things about Disneyland? And I would say Disneyland, the same thing, atmosphere. I like that they have the trolleys going around that you don't see as often in Magic Kingdom and Disney World, so that's pretty cool if you ever want to take the trolleys in the front of the park. I love that you can walk through the castle completely. That is not a feature that you have in Disney World all the time, so I love that aspect. I also like Jolly Holiday Bakery in Disneyland. I mean, it's just so much fun to go there. It's Mary Poppins themed, which is cute. I love Mary Poppins, one of my favorite movies. So they have that aspect. And I also like that it's organized differently than Disney World. One of my favorite places to go in Disneyland that you can't get in Florida at all is the New Orleans Square area. The whole New Orleans themed area is completely unique to Disneyland, and I love that area. French Market is a great quick service restaurant to just grab a quick lunch if you're ever going to that park. And I also like that they have the Cajun, influences with Cafe Orleans and the bigger restaurant there, Blue Bayou, which I've actually never been to. I've been an annual pass holder for the past 2 years and never been to Blue Bayou, so that is on my list as a must-do item. But there's a lot of unique things that you can only get in Disneyland versus Disney World. I also like that it's the one park that Walt Disney did step foot in, so that is unique because if you're looking for Disney history and just want to be closer to Walt like I do, I mean, as a Disney buff, I just love hearing about the history of Disney in general. So the fact that Walt's apartment was over there looking over New Orleans Square, the whole thing makes it feel just so much more alive. I will say that I feel that some of the people that go to Disneyland versus Disney World kind of feel like the little bit, that authenticity with Walt having been there himself makes them more superior than the Florida parks. At least that's what I've seen from some of the cast members. When I talk to them, they're just like, oh, we're the better park. And I don't necessarily agree because I grew up with the Florida parks. So I just want to put that out there. I'm a little biased because I did go to the Florida parks first, but those are my favorite things I like about Disneyland. Oh, and I also like Mr. Toad's ride, which you cannot get in Disney World anymore, so that is awesome. And Casey Jr.'s ride. Oh, Casey Jr.'s train is so cute. Now that I've actually seen Dumbo, I know the influence of Casey Jr. That entire train is from Dumbo, so love that. What is your favorite Disney thing to collect? So I mentioned this in my channel before. I'm not a really big Disney collector of one particular item. I kind of collect a lot of things that say the parks itself on them. That's one thing I do like to collect, is to have something that says Disney World on it or Disneyland. That's why I got that Disneyland sign behind me, the Lilo and Stitch one, just because I thought that was cute. I have this shirt. etc. But in terms of a specific thing that I collect, it's not one particular item. I just kind of collect what speaks to my heart. And I have an eclectic taste of different things, but I guess the one thing that I have the most of is classic Mickey Mouse, because I am a big Mickey Mouse fan, more than Minnie Mouse. So I love Mickey. And I actually was just putting my pin board together last night, and I realized that. I'm like, I have a lot of Mickey pins. Had no idea that I was such a Mickey buff, but I guess I am. And I even have 2 of the Mickeys from the Shop Disney releases on my desk behind me as well. So there you go. The next question is, who is your favorite character meet and greet at Disneyland? So we met a lot of cool characters at Disneyland. I like that the characters there seem to frequent certain routes more frequently than Disney World anyway. You kind of see like more unique characters in a sense sometimes. I mean, maybe it's because Disney World it's all spread out in the 4 different parks, whereas in Disneyland it's all just coming at you all at once. But I would have to I'm partial to the character meet and greets that my daughter has had the most fun with, and that is meeting Anna and Elsa in California Adventure. They are a regular staple there all day long, so you always have the guarantee of seeing them. The line's about 20 minutes or less each time. So we've met them many, many times, and my daughter loves going in that little area to meet them.
Go meet them! I love your dress today. It has all this nice crystals on it. It looks so beautiful. Can I have a big Give her a hug! Things tend to freeze around here.
I also want to say in Disneyland, we met Rapunzel and Flynn Rider, and they engaged with my daughter in such a sweet way. I think I have footage of that. If so, I'll insert that really quickly in here. And so I love that experience, and I also liked meeting Jasmine and Aladdin. They were so fun. So those are some of my best character meet and greets at Disneyland.
So much fun.
What is your favorite Disney ride? So I mentioned this in my last giveaway video, the announcement that Tower of Terror is my favorite ride ever. I love just the going up and down. I love that it's always a different experience. I was really sad when they got rid of the California Adventure version. I still have not gone to the replacement Guardian of the Galaxy ride, so hopefully on my next trip, we're only going to Disneyland this coming weekend, so the next trip after that, hopefully I'm going to get a Fast Pass or a Max Pass and just do it. But yeah, so Tower of Terror all the way, and then my second favorite is Rock and Roller Coaster. And if I'm including Disney rides around the world, I would say that Crush's Coaster in Paris is iconic. It's still in my mind, so fresh. I love that you kind of felt like the wave motions, kind of like you were surfing a lot of parts in that ride. I don't know why they haven't brought that ride to Disney World or to Disneyland here in the US, but I love that ride. That is a must-do. Do that if you're ever there. And I hope that it's still there. I don't know. Okay, so next up is what is on your Disney bucket list? So, Shanghai Disney, I definitely want to go to that park to see the tallest castle in the world. That sounds amazing to me, and it's the newest park, so I'm curious to see what it looks like in person. Also on my bucket list, I would say, is to stay in the Cinderella's castle suite. Why not? That is up there. I would love that. Another bucket list item is to work for Disney. So I don't mean to work as a cast member. I do PR as a regular job. If I had an in to work for the publicity department of Disney World, I would do so in a heartbeat and or as a travel agent, because I also love to plan my friends' trips. So I am looking into that right now, either becoming a Disney travel agent or working for the publicity department of Disney. Promoting Disney all the time like I do already in my everyday life would be a dream for me, and that is a bucket list item. And then I guess my other bucket list would be to go to Club 33. Oh my god. So if you're not familiar, Club 33 is this exclusive club that Walt himself created back in Disneyland when the park was first opening, just to have a place for the trade, the shareholders, to just have a place to mingle, and it's a private club that is only for people that are a member. These days, I think the membership costs are upwards of $50,000, maybe it was $100,000. I don't remember what the entry cost was, but it was expensive, something that I cannot afford. A kidney and a half, basically. And I did have a chance to go to Club 33 when I first moved to California. I was part of a Disneyland meetup group, and somebody there had the inn and invited everyone to go to that meetup. I got sick and was not able to go, and I'm so upset to this day because that was like 5 years ago, and I still have never seen a chance to go to Club 33 ever again. And I had just moved here, so I didn't really know like the history behind it, but that is on my bucket list for sure. What character is your favorite to meet? Every time, Mickey Mouse. My daughter gives him a kiss on the nose. He kind of just like gives him a high five. She's so cute interacting with him. So Mickey Mouse every time. I'm a classic Mickey person. And I'll also put Pluto up there. Whenever we get a chance to meet Pluto, she's so cute with him also. How do you compare prices of things in all the Disney parks you've been in? So I think this question is in reference to when I do my videos and I have the different merchandise. I look in the Shop Disney Parks app. I look at the Shop Disney website. I look at websites that are authentic to the Disney World atmosphere online to see what they're currently going for. Or I look at my own footage from when I've gone to Disneyland and see what the prices were for certain merchandise. And that's how I kind of know what the prices are. So I'm going to hold them for a little bit. The next question is, what's your favorite festival or event at Disney? So my favorite festival is the Food and Wine Festival, for sure. I mean, I love the food, I love the alcohol, I love just the different samples of the different countries from around the world. Again, I'm a really big international cuisine person, so just getting a taste of those different cultures every year, I love. And the years that I have not gone to the Food and Wine Festival, I've been really sad. If you've seen any of my videos when I first started this channel back last fall, I was really miserable not going to the Food and Wine Festival last year, which is why we're going this year. And we were planning to stay at the Beach Club so that I can be within walking distance to the Food and Wine Festival and just like kind of stumble home every day. I am looking forward to that trip. So yeah, definitely the Food and Wine Festival. And then my favorite event, I guess I could use like attraction. I love Phantasmic and Illuminations. Those are my two favorite fireworks, show type of things at Disney. So I'll put that there. Yeah. What are your top Disney attractions? So that is a hard question. Hold on. I'm going to look really quickly online to see what the different attractions are and come right on back. Okay. So I just made a list because it'd be too hard to do this off the top of my head. But Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Cinderella's Castle, because that's an attraction, right? Dinosaur, Space Mountain, Rock and Roller Coaster, Spaceship Earth. I love going into that freaking globe. Test Track, Phantasmic, Illuminations, and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So those are my tops. And then if I'm going to do Disneyland, I love the Matterhorn bobsleds. That is something you can only get at Disneyland. It's a really cool ride, one of the originals. Love it. It's really rickety though, so if you're not a rickety ride person, I do not recommend it because it's a little rough. Casey Jr. Circus Train, the Indiana Jones Adventure, which is only in Disneyland, not in Disney World. I love that ride when it's not broken down. It's always broken down. Why? And then Peter Pan's Flight because it's a classic and I just love going to Peter Pan. And then Dumbo for my daughter because she is a fan of that Dumbo ride every time. She has a big smile on her face. So those are my top 10-ish plus Disney attractions. The next question is, we'll be going to California early next year besides Disney, which is obviously on my list. What else are recommendations? I would recommend going to some of the museums. The Peterson Museum is a really cool automobile museum if you're into that, looking at cars, just the history of cars. It's a nice place to visit. Museums here in general, we have the Getty, Getty's house down in Santa Monica. Go to the beaches for sure. Santa Monica Beach is beautiful, although a little touristy at times. There's a pier there with a roller coaster and just boardwalk games and whatnot. So it's a fun place just to people watch. I would also recommend going to Manhattan Beach if you have the chance. I love Manhattan Beach. It's family friendly, it's gorgeous, it's clean, and there are a lot of great restaurants and little shops near there. I would also say just, if you have a chance to go check out by the Anaheim area, there's Laguna Beach, and there's also Huntington Beach. Some of the beaches that are in the Orange County area are gorgeous, fun to look at. Basically go to a beach, because it's so much fun here in California. The weather's always great down there. What else? Go hiking! If you're also in the Pacific Palisades area, not too far from Santa Monica, there's a beautiful trail called Temescal Canyon, and you're going up the mountain, and it's very nice breeze in your face the entire time. And because you're by the ocean, it's an ocean breeze as well. And then when you get to the top, you can see the ocean as well as beautiful trees and fauna and flora all around you. I recommend it highly to everyone that comes here to visit. So those are some of the things, and if you have a chance, go to Venice Beach as well. It's different vibe there, more, you know, gritty, but, you know, you can see like the muscle men and whatnot there, and just avoid some of the boardwalk there is kind of just filled with a bunch of like knickknacks and people trying to sell you things. So there's that. But those are some of the places I would recommend. If you want some restaurant recommendations, send me an email and I will put together a list for you for sure. What is the favorite Disney item that you own? I'll show you. Okay, so obviously I love a lot of the things that I own because I wouldn't own them otherwise, but this has such a sentimental value to me. This is a Lennox Minnie's Dream Wedding item that we got for our wedding. This also served as our cake topper on my cake. But this is the one item that my husband actually suggested that we get because he knew my love of Disney. It was so appropriate, so we had Mickey and Minnie top our cake. And I currently have this on our mantle in our living room, and it's just a great reminder of our wedding and of my love for Disney and my love for my husband. So this is my favorite Disney item that I own. Okay, the next question is, what was your very first Disney movie? Oh my goodness. So I think my first Disney movie was Oliver and Company. I don't remember it though. I don't remember what was in that movie. I know it's about a girl and a cat or something. And there's that song, why should I worry? Why should I care? My sister was obsessed with that film. I think I was like 1 or 2 when I saw that film, so I don't remember what it's about. I have to put that on my list to watch again. But the first Disney movie that I remember that I loved, that I was mimicking every day, I was pretending to be a mermaid in my pool, my backyard, because I grew up in Florida, so I had a pool, was The Little Mermaid, which I'm sure many of you who watch this channel frequently know that because I am obsessed with Little Mermaid and have a lot of Little Mermaid merchandise, and yeah, it's one of my favorites. What is your favorite Disney song? My favorite Disney song, there's so many. I have a playlist of Disney on my Spotify list that I just watch a lot, or that I listen to a lot. One of those like Disney classic CDs that they used to have. I like listening to the Epcot Illumination CD as well, which I own from past years of getting that CD. But I would say that one of my favorite Disney songs is A Whole New World from Aladdin, because I remember being a little girl and my whole family learned that song. It was one of the first songs that we all learned, and we each had our own part. I used to wait for the Jasmine parts and sing her part. So we knew the words verbatim. It was our favorite song to sing for the longest time. So A Whole New World is definitely up there. I really like from Hercules, I Won't Say I'm in Love. That is such a gorgeous song. I love that so much. Kiss the Girl from Little Mermaid. We used to play that tape on our trips going up to Disney all the time. It was like a way to get amped up about our upcoming trip to Disney. So that is definitely on my list. It's one of my favorite songs ever. Under the Sea. You know, as much as we sing that so much, that's definitely up there. I like a lot of the songs from the Hunchback Notre Dame soundtrack. It's just good music. Yeah, I think that answers some of my favorite Disney songs. A lot though. I mean, Lion King, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Every time my daughter watches that movie now, I just kind of am singing it in the background. Can you feel the love tonight, tonight? So yeah, that's definitely up there. What is your favorite Disney ride? Answer that question so we can move on. What is your favorite Disneyland exclusive ride? Matterhorn bobsleds. I try to go on that every time I get the chance to, for sure. And then also I like the Cars Land Radiator Springs ride, which is kind of similar to Test Track in Florida, but with the Cars theme. It's beautiful, it's well done. I love that ride. What are your favorite characters? Mickey Mouse, Ariel, Jasmine from Aladdin, and this is my top 3, I think. Oh, and Milan. Milan for sure. What are your favorite attractions? I answered that question. What are your favorite parks and merchandise? I love home good items, so I'm all about the pillows, I'm all about the decor, the picture frames. That's really cool. I like popcorn buckets. If you watch a lot of my merch video or Disney mystery boxes, you'll kind of get a sense of what kind of merch I like, because a lot of that has been covered in that. But I like a lot of Disney. I like a lot. My favorite parks, I mentioned were Disney World, were Epcot. How far do you live from Disneyland or the outlets? So that question was asked a couple times from a couple of you. I guess everyone's interested to know how close I am to the outlets from my Shop With Me series. I'm about 40 minutes from the Citadel outlets, which is the one that is closest to Disneyland, which if you do the math, on good traffic days, when the traffic is not that bad, I'm about an hour and 10 minutes from Disneyland. So that is where I am. Hard question. Choose one. If you had to choose Wall-E or Up, what would it be? Easy question for me. I have it on my wall. There's Up right there in the background. I am an Up fan. That movie, oh my god, it got me at the beginning with Ellie and Carl. I don't want to give up the story, but you know, there's a sad moment at the beginning of the movie, and that gets me every time. Their love for each other was just so sweet throughout the years, so definitely Up. I saw Wall-E, and honestly, I wasn't the biggest fan, so I don't really remember much of it except for the fact that everyone was a big blob sitting on the movie theater screen, kind of eating food. And whenever I go to these dine-in movie theaters now with my husband, we always kind of feel like those characters from Wall-E, so we joke about it. But that's about all I remember from that movie, besides, like, it kind of reminded me of Batteries Not Included. If anyone has seen that movie from the 80s, that's what that cartoon reminds me of. So Wall-E kind of felt like a ripoff to me. Sorry. So the next question is, what is your ranking of the Walt Disney World parks from best to worst? That is a hard question. Alright, this is just my personal opinion, based off of what I like the most. So, because of the fact that I love Epcot and walking around, Epcot's number 1. Number 2 for me is Hollywood Studios, because I like Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. Yes, I can do Hollywood Studios in a matter of like 3 hours and then be done with that park and then move on, but because it has some of my favorite rides in any of the Disney parks ever, it's up there on my list. After that, I would say Animal Kingdom? It's hard between Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom, but I think I'm more of an Animal Kingdom person. Especially now that my daughter is liking the animals more. They have the Pandora aspect, which I kind of thought was a little overrated, honestly. But I did like it. It's beautiful. And yeah, I think that is up there. And then just because Magic Kingdom is last on my list, it's worst on my list because it is so crowded! Whenever I go there, it's always crowded, and I like to not have crowds. I think that's kind of the reason why Disneyland is not my favorite park, because that is a super crowded park. I prefer California Adventure to Disneyland. So if I'm doing the Disneyland, it's California Adventure and then Disneyland. So that's my list. What Disney item do you relate yourself to personally? Oh, to personally. I definitely think that I'm a little personal with my Minnie Mouse, Minnie and Mickey cake topper because of the nostalgia, because of the value that it has in my heart. And I think that castle photo on that wall there just reminds me of, you know, my love for the parks every day. So I think that's definitely a personal item for me. Anything that's like that. Yay, we're now halfway through the questions. That was question 25. We're now on question 26. What are your favorite Disneyland and California Adventure rides? I think I mentioned those already. The Casey Jr. train, the Cars ride, the bobsled ride. Those are my favorites. Mr. Toad's Wild Adventure, for sure. I also like the Roger Rabbit ride that's in Disneyland. That's such a cool ride, and they don't have that in Florida. The person that answered that said Space Mountain and Radiator Springs Racers. I agree on Radiator Springs Racers and Space Mountain wholeheartedly. Although I do like the Space Mountain in Florida better because I feel like there is more down slopes, and I'm all about the downward slopes in my roller coasters, whereas the one here in California is more tame. It just goes on a track like this. Which Disney park would you visit if you had your flight, hotel, park tickets all paid for? For sure, Shanghai and Tokyo. I'm going to put Tokyo back on that list because I loved that park so much. So if I could fly to Tokyo tomorrow and have everything paid for, the whole works, I wouldn't even resist. I would be off in a flash. I have a pretty flexible job because I work from home, but my husband is not as flexible as me, so I usually have to wait until he is available. But if I had all that paid for, I would go in a heartbeat. I love that idea. And I actually have a fun fact to share. So somebody asked me recently on my channel how am I able to travel so frequently, and definitely part of it is saving up, but also some of my travels recently I was able to do because of their luck. I went to my local mall. They were doing a giveaway for New Zealand Air. For 75 people, we're going to win a free flight to either New Zealand, Australia, or to London, and I was one of the 75 people that got that free flight. Mine was to London. You could not change it. So we used London as a kickoff base to get to Europe. And because I had just been to London the year prior for a friend's wedding, long story for that too, but so we ended up going to London, my husband and I, and we took our daughter, who was our only daughter, our only child at the time, and we flew to London for 2 days, hung out with some of our friends that lived there, and then from London we went to Copenhagen for the first time ever. That was awesome. And then to Germany, to Munich. So that was a really fun trip that we were able to do by way of that free flight that I won to go to Europe. And of course, if you guys have been to the to Europe, you know that the inner flights, the flights to the European countries, is not as expensive as going cross country. So we were able to get like the Ryanair, you know, discounted flights, which is kind of like a Spirit Airlines here, and go to those countries that way, and it was amazing. So I had so much fun. What is your #1 must-eat treat in the park? She likes Dole Whip. Ice cream for sure, all the time. Definitely ice cream. And for my husband, he's really into that Disney pizza. What is currently Pizza Rizzo in Hollywood Studios, and that used to be the Toy Story themed pizza. He was a big fan of that circular pizza. I can show you a picture of that. He loves that pizza. I know some people don't like it. If you watch the videos or see the posts from the Disney food blog, they're not a big fan of that pizza, but in my family, we love that pizza. So we have found it in Disneyland in Toontown. In Toontown, in the Daisy Duck themed area with Donald Duck, they do have that pizza there, and we go all the time. So that is a must in Disney for this family. You mentioned last time that you grew up as a Disney legacy child. What would you say is different about the parks from when you were a child to now? Definitely, I think that a lot of the rides have changed. There's a lot of older rides that were on my list that I used to love that are no longer there in the parks, and you know, I understand it because the parks get older, they have to update it, but I get sad about that every now and then. So one thing that comes to mind, I wrote this down real quick, Maelstrom, the Norwegian ride that used to be there before Anna and Elsa took over. I love the Frozen Ever After. I think it's really well done, but I can't go on that ride without seeing the polar bears and the Vikings and everything that used to be the ride when Maelstrom was there. So I love that ride. I loved the old Journey to Imagination because the Figment ride, basically. I'm a big Figment person, and my sister and I were big fans of how it used to be. The updated version, not so much. I go on that ride when I'm trying to pass time. Otherwise, I kind of hate that ride. It's not my list at all, so I kind of miss that from my childhood because it was great. I used to love Captain EO. My sister's a big Michael Jackson fan, so because of that, I grew up loving Captain EO. She used to sing it all the time. We're sending out a message. This is my message to you. I totally got the words wrong. But anyway, so she loves, there's just another part of me. So when they brought that back, I was so happy. I remember being on my honeymoon in Disneyland Paris, and this is after they had already gotten rid of Captain EO in the US parks, and they had it in Paris, and I bought a poster for my sister. She still has it on her wall to this day because I told you she's a big Michael Jackson fan. So yeah, Captain EO is up there. I know that he has questionable things that he's done, but let's appreciate his music for what it is, which is amazing. I think a lot of us can agree with that. So I do like the Captain EO, and I miss that from my childhood. And I also liked, they have these little, the water chases around and goes from different areas in the Captain EO area. They still have that to this day, but when I was a kid, we used to actually hang out there and wait to get splashed in that little water area. Comment below if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so that's definitely a memory from my childhood that we don't appreciate now. And I kind of also miss a little bit of the newness of the parks. There was sort of just a fascination that I had when I was a little kid, exploring these parks for the first time. Now that I'm an adult, you know, I know what to expect for the most part because it hasn't been as much changes. So I'm not going with such a fresh mind and awe as I was when I was a kid, but I still love it either way. So those are some of the things. Definitely Mr. Toad's Wild Ride used to be up there, and the attractions that they took away. I miss the old Norwegian buffet. Comment below if you know what I'm talking about. Before it is what it is today, which is the princess breakfast, or the princess dining experience with the characters, they used to just have a regular old buffet that was similar to the German experience, and it was a Norwegian themed food, but it was a very like laid back atmosphere. It was a way to have a buffet at the park in Epcot for a lower price, because Germany was always more expensive. So please comment below if you know what I'm talking about, because I was talking to my family about this recently and they didn't remember. It hurt me so much. I was like, how do you not remember this? But yeah, just things like that that I miss from my childhood. And I miss, oh, Body Wars. Body Wars used to be a ride in Epcot that I used to love. It was kind of similar to Star Wars, but the theme was that you went through someone's body, they had a splinter, and the mission was to get it out. It was kind of ridiculous in theory, but you saw the blood vessels, you saw a lot of different like things that were inside the body. You were inside the body on one of those simulator ride that you didn't really go anywhere, but you felt like you were going through the body. It was amazing. So I miss that. And also, who cannot love the Great Movie Ride? I was able to go on that before they closed. I love that ride. Also for nostalgic value, I loved seeing, you know, follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick, follow the yellow brick, follow the yellow brick road. Dun 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 dun. He's looking at me like, what? But yeah, I used to love that ride. So fun. It did get a little corny toward the end when I felt like the training of the characters kind of died as the years went by. Maybe I've just gotten older and I can kind of see it through it a little bit more, but I felt like in more recent years, it's what my husband and I call lap bar syndrome. People were just on autopilot doing that ride, so they would be like, oh, let me go over there. There's a guy with a gun. Let me see what this is about. Hold on, everybody. And it's just so fake that you're kind of like, okay, can you just kind of put us back into the atmosphere, pretend, like act a little bit better, basically. So I felt like the acting got a little poor as I got a little older, but I still love that ride nevertheless. I will say, when you go on Jungle Cruise and your Jungle Cruise navigator is amazing, it is so funny. Those jokes are so cheesy, but when you have someone that like hits them spot on and is really into it, you're really into it. So when you go on a ride and they're just kind of like, you're kind of like, too. You know what I mean? The next question I have here is, what is your favorite place to eat at Disneyland? For sure, my favorite place to eat is the French Market. It's a kind of a go-to that I go to every time. It's just a nice, solid lunch. They have salads, they have pastas, they have a little bit of Cajun food, so I love that in New Orleans Square. Definitely go check that out if you're able to. I'm not the biggest fan of the Disneyland quick service choices, so it's hard for me to answer that question, but French Market is up there. And if I were going to answer that question, even though that wasn't the question, in Disney World, my equivalent, in Magic Kingdom, I love going to the place that has the clam chowder and the seafood. It's over by Haunted Mansion. I love that place. It's so good, and I'm blanking on the name of it right now. I don't know why, but that is my go-to spot. And I think I have to take a break anyway to quickly take care of this little guy. So I'll be right back, and when I come back, I will look up what the name of that restaurant is so I can answer it on camera. All right, thank you. Okay, so that's the end of part 1. I am gonna go to part 2 and upload that separately because otherwise it's gonna be a really, really long video. But thank you again for sticking by and watching what you did watch, and leave a comment below with what your favorite thing is that I said in this Q&A, because I'm interested in knowing what you guys thought was the most interesting to you. So thanks so much, and hope you all take care and are having a lovely week. Bye!